Hi, so my name is Gabby, and today I'm going to be talking about where I volunteer at. The organization that I volunteer at is called Nebraska Appleseed. One thing that is interesting about Nebraska Appleseed is that it does some lobbying and it does some petitions. My duties include getting signatures to put the expansion of the Medicaid healthcare plan on the ballot this fall. This is through the Ensure the Good Life campaign, and I think it's really cool because I get to hear experiences of other people and I get to hear their stories and I get to talk to people at the College View Farmers Market and Jazz in June by the Sheldon Art Museum. So I think that this is also really cool because I got to read about some stories on the website, the Nebraska Appleseed website, and that was really cool because it was an eye-opener for me and I loved all the stories, and it made me want to pass this bill even more. The other thing that was on the website was that it said that over 225,000 Nebraskans can't even afford the basic health care plans. And I just think that's so sad, and I really want this bill to pass, and I really want them to get the help that they need. And before I even first started volunteering at Nebraska Appleseed, I had to do some research of my own, and I had to read more about the Medicaid healthcare plan and what it covers now and everything. But I got all caught up, and I could answer any questions that they asked me, and I now get more information every day I work or I volunteer, and it's just amazing to me. I did want to have a little bit more information on the first day I volunteered, just because I wasn't all prepared at what the questions I was going to be asked. I wasn't. So I had to kind of watch one of the people who had volunteered there before, and I had to watch them and how they interacted with people who asked these questions. And whenever somebody asked me a question, she came up to me and was like, "Let me help you out. I'll answer this question for you." And all was well, but it was a little bit unnerving at first. My favorite memory so far is just talking to everybody that has signed and how they're all so hopeful that this bill gets passed, and they're all rooting for it. Some of them are actually working in the healthcare department, so they really want this to be passed, and they really want, to see these families get more coverage that they need, and it's just amazing to hear those stories. Another thing that was actually really interesting to me was my first day of volunteering. I was at the Jazz in June by the Sheldon Art Museum, and these three guys walked by, and we asked them if they were a registered voter, and they were like, "Oh, we're from England," and I was like, "That's cool," because when I don't think of, English people in Nebraska, just because I'm not used to it, and I especially don't think of them in the summer. Like during the school year, I understand, but in the summer, it's a little bit harder for me to grab that concept, and I don't know, I thought it was really cool. So I would give a little bit more instruction on what works to get people's attention, because what the guy who trained me said was basically you'll figure it out as you go, and I did, but it's the normal "hi, how are you doing?" and asking them that question, and then that at least gets their attention for me to be asking them if they're a registered voter and if they wanted to sign. But I would just like a little bit more instruction on what works for some, like what phrases would work. I'm having to sense some body language from people, because most of the time they'll just be, like, if they don't want to sign, they'll just walk faster away from me and, kind of ignore me, turn their head away, or go on their phone. I had somebody who just kept brushing their hair back, and I realized that I do that when I walk by some people who want petitions and stuff, or try to busy myself, or start a conversation with the person I'm walking with, or something to just be like, I am busy, do not ask me anything, like, don't bother me. Whereas when people who actually do want to sign, they'll kind of slow down and then turn around to my way and then be like, yeah, I'll sign, or yeah, this is great, I love what you're doing. Another thing that I have learned is empathy. Empathy helps in this situation because it makes me understand the people's story a little bit more. It makes me feel towards their cause and the 90,000 Nebraskans who really need this bill to be passed, and it's just going to be great if it does, and I'll be happy for them, and I'll be happy for those who get a chance to get some health care. So what I talked about today is Nebraska Appleseed is what I do with them. I talked about some stories that I've had and how the stories that I've heard really affect me. So thank you so much for listening.